I've got to ask you about some breaking news that has just come in, if I can, Senator Paterson. A Chinese fighter jet, this has been reported, has dropped flares in front of an Australian Navy helicopter in international waters. Apparently it happened on Saturday evening off the coast of South Korea. It could have been catastrophic if it wasn't for the reflexes of the Australian pilot. Richard Marles has now called this unacceptable, but we're only finding out about it now, of course. And this comes after that sonar pulse incident last year, and real questions about what action the Prime Minister took with his Chinese counterpart, and in that case also a delay in us finding out. How concerned are you with this report?
I'm very concerned. HMAS Hobart was in the Yellow Sea enforcing United Nations sanctions against the North Korean government. They were in international waters, not in China's waters, and the People's Liberation Army Air Force has taken an extremely dangerous, coercive step here and put the lives, again, of Australian serving personnel in danger. This should not be allowed to happen, and the Australian government must be incredibly robust in our response. I want to know what the Prime Minister has done about this, because last time he abrogated his responsibility to our men and women in uniform by failing to raise it directly with Xi Jinping when he had the opportunity. Have they convened the National Security Committee of Cabinet? What representations have been made to the Chinese government, and at what level?
What do you make of those comments to former head of the US Office of Naval Intelligence, Michael Studeman? He says he has a concern that China's stockpiling. He thinks something is coming over the horizon. He points to rapidly expanding reserves of oil, iron ore, copper, zinc, rare earths, etc. He says a storm from Beijing is heading towards Taiwan. I mean, he's concerned. Are we concerned, or should we be concerned?
We need to take warnings like this very seriously, as well as others that have been made by the US Indo-Pacific Commander, Admiral Aquilino, by our ambassador to Washington DC, Kevin Rudd, who've all said that conflict in our region is foreseeable in just the next few years. And Xi Jinping himself has said that he is willing to use force to annex Taiwan and subsume them into the People's Republic of China. And he's also right now building the military he needs to achieve that aim. Now, I'm not suggesting that there is going to be war imminently, but we have to be prepared for the possibility of conflict, because it would be utterly detrimental, obviously, to the people of Taiwan, but also Australia and our interest in the region. And our interest is the maintenance of the peaceful status quo. That's the rationale for AUKUS. That's why we're trying to invest in deterrence to contribute to the prevention of conflict in our region. And yet what that requires is a government that understands the seriousness of the moment we're in and is willing to invest accordingly. And we haven't seen that yet from this government.
Now, I remind people, Senator Paterson, of course, everything's on the long finger. It's 10 years down in terms of the budget cycle, not in the immediate budget 4-year estimates.